We'll reconvene our meeting and we'll move right into the Ag Service Board report. Mr. Todd Green, welcome.
Good morning.
We started a long time ago this afternoon.
My bad. Not going to make any jokes. That's fine. All right, so just a quick update on some of the highlights over the last little bit. We continue to push forward on the Emerson project for upgrading down there that we agreed to. Ran into a little bit of a hiccup where we have to do some studies that we hadn't really intended to do just through our development permit process. So we're currently conducting a archaeological study and a paleontological study. So we're looking for artifacts and dinosaurs is what we've kind of alluded it to. So far, all things look positive to move forward. No major finds. But anyways, so there's that. And we are, of course, gearing up this time of year to open the park on May the 19th. Our seasonal campers come in on the 13th. And we already have a few outside of the camping season that have shown interest in coming down. So we're excited to get the camping season rolling. Usually with the warm and nice weather, that's what happens. So we have been doing some gopher control work in a few of our hamlets and with some partners. So far going really well. We do monitor those areas for any gophers that may succumb to the poison above ground, and Howard makes sure those are gone. We do have some tree planting projects coming up, one down in Rolling Hills. I guess it wouldn't be really our tree planting project, but the Brooks Fish and Game Association is doing a big project on what they call the Spruill property, which is actually very close to Councillor Short's house. So we'll probably be asking him to show up and bring refreshments, some cold waters or something in the morning. Yeah, I think it's important, to show some support that way. The Brooks Fish and Game Association has been really committed to getting some, habitat growing again on their sites and in partnership with ACA. So it's really kind of neat to work with them. This time of year, we really just start wrapping up all the admin side and the shop side of our work, and we just get ready to do the things that people know that we do, which is the mowing and the spraying and the control work and all the good stuff out there in the field. If anybody wasn't paying attention, it got really windy last week and this week, and that has wreaked some havoc on our usually normally planned schedules these time of year. So we had an event in early February where we seen some soil erosion occur and we had some infrastructure that was impacted. So at that time, we reached out to one of our seasonal employees that had done our soil erosion survey last year, and she was able to come back early. So she started on Monday. She did our playground inspections first, and then she rolled into the soil survey started yesterday. So we'll have some better information for you guys at the end of April on how much was impacted, and hopefully we can make some decisions to move forward. So that's where we're at. That's the highlights. That's the fun stuff. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Todd? Holly.
It's actually a jumping the gun question here, but when we're looking at who your weed inspectors are and weed control people, agriculture pests, how many of those are repeat students and how many would be new to the county?
The new ones on that list, the weed inspectors, what we call them vegetation management technicians, and the pest inspectors, there's one returning. Aaron Olivier is returning from last year, and the other three are new to us.
Thank you. Kelly, please.
Back to your report, a question about playgrounds. Do we have a partnership with Grasslands to? No. So we just do county-owned playgrounds for inspecting the equipment. Okay. How many of those would there be?
We just do 5.
5.
Yeah. So we have Emerson Bridge Park. We do the one in Scandia. We do the one in Patricia. We do the one in Tilly that we constructed with the town in 2014, with the hamlet. And Lake New Resort has one that sits on county land.
Thank you.
Okay.
Only one sits on county land. So the blue one towards the marina, or at the marina, the kind of over there, that big MR parcel, that one does not sit on county land. It sits on EID land. We have worked with them in the past when we're doing maintenance work at the MR. If we note something that is not right or whatever, you know, we'll alert their group that they need to take some attention.
Okay. Any other questions for Todd? If not, you have some proposed motions for us in terms of appointing weed inspectors, pest inspectors, and soil conservation officer, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a kind of a formal process, but really a formality, I guess, because we have to do it every year.
With that, if there aren't questions, we look for a motion for 9.2.1, the appointment of weed inspectors. That motion is in our package. Anyone prepared to move in that direction? Adina, please.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Similarly, a motion to appoint pest inspectors. Lynette, please.
I'll make the motion for the pest inspectors.
Thank you. All in favor of that motion, please indicate. That's carried as well. And 9.2.3, motion of appointment of a soil conservation officer. Ellen, please.
I will also make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor of that motion, please indicate. That is carried as well. Thank you, Todd. Okay. Okay, we're down to 10.1, an administrative business, planning and development report. Maria, please. I'm starting to figure out who's doing what here. Thank you.
Thank you. So the planning and development report has become a quarterly report so that I can include more information in one, or it's maybe more useful anyway. It used to be a monthly report. Anyway, we have just hired a new intern. It is a program with Alberta Municipal Affairs, and it's an 18-month position. This intern has just graduated, and they will help us in our department and also work with some of the other departments and learn about municipal government and what we do, and get some familiarity with planning and development and our plans and different things. And so hopefully provide them with the skill set that they can maybe stay within the municipal government going forward. So that's exciting. This intern will start on May 9th, and we'll introduce you once they get here. Subdivisions have been pretty steady. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. We have seen an increase in development permit applications, and I think this has a lot to do with the rural water, because there is the policy that people can get water with an approved development permit. I think they're thinking, wow, maybe now is the time to get building our houses and doing some things that they had been thinking about. So that's been great. Construction permits have also been status quo. One thing of interest, I guess, in talking with Park Enterprises, our accredited agency who does all the inspections, they said that there was a new building code that was released this year. So this, Alberta has their own building code, but it reflects the national building code. And a big change in that is that agricultural buildings will need to obtain construction permits. So that's something that has been exempt previously. So the Alberta Building Code is updated every 5 years. So that's a change that might make a significant impact in what we do here at the county for issuing permits. So we'll see how that goes forward. And that's kind of it for me, if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. Just in relation to the change that's coming, that's for all agriculture buildings? Currently don't need building permits, right? We still need some county permits or not?
As long as the building meets the policy within the land use bylaw, so the setbacks and any other pertinent policy, then it is exempt from a development permit, and then also for building, electrical. Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. Electrical and gas is still required, but a building permit is not required for agriculture buildings.
Oh.
Yeah. As of now.
Great, okay, thank you. Any other questions? Holly, please.
2 questions. The first is to follow up from Arno's question. Is it just going to be a building permit, a construction permit, or expect to be a whole lot more with it? And the second question is just wondering, because I'm trying to go back to the annual report, and we're seeing somewhere I read that the lots still have to be staked at the head gates, but they are subdivided, or are they not subdivided? I'm just kind of confused about that.
Yeah, good questions. For the agricultural building permits, I'm not sure what will come. So the Alberta Safety Codes Council will have to decide what they want to do with this change. So the Alberta Code is currently reflective of the National Building Code plus a little bit. So if they continue in that manner, then I think we could see that building permits will be required, but they may decide not to. So it's just something I guess we need to keep in mind when they update that. And then for the North Head Gates, the subdivision has been approved. We're currently working on finalization. So some of the conditions were removing structures that were decrepit, or all the privies needed to be removed. So I think we are done that stage. I believe that has all been finalized, and the surveyors will be in the next couple of weeks to place the pins, and then we should be able to have everything finalized and registered at land title. So we're hoping soon.
So that won't come back to us then, that's all done.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, a minute, thank you. Please.
I was just curious what schooling the intern, like what they would have graduated with.
That's also a good question. So I can't remember exactly all the streams of the resumes that we received, but this intern has a bachelor's degree in urban planning, I believe. So it is a specific planning degree. We also received resumes with geography degrees and engineering. So there was a little bit of variety. And a lot of the resumes that we received had master's degrees, or they're planning on getting their master's in the future. So they're pretty great candidates we received, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, a motion to approve the planning and development report, please. Dan Short, thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried, thank you. Thank you, Maria, appreciate that. And we are down to number 10.3, I believe, our annual report. Here we are.
All right, it's the annual report. So this, we are required under the MGA to make our financial statements or a summary of them and the auditor's report available before May 1st. We have been preparing the annual report document for a number of years. The past few years it's been in this long format, which we submit to the GFOA for an award, which we won. It contains the financial information, the controller's report by Stephanie. A few years ago, we used to prepare two versions, one short version that got published in the paper and was sent to the annual general meeting. A couple of years ago, we combined it into one big report, so that's why it contains a report from the Reeve that summarizes significant events in council from the previous year, as well as reports from municipal services, ag services, and planning and development. So it's before you today for your review and feedback. So if you identify anything that needs changing or typos, we noticed that some of the planning and development stats need to be fixed. We went back and forth a couple times, so I will fix those. We've got a couple extra years and might be missing a year. Yeah, other than that, I welcome your feedback.
Okay, Kelly, thank you, Ariana. Kelly, please.
Just a question, Ariana, will you be, the financials, will you be taking the draft off of there?
Yes, those were just, those are the financial statements that would have been presented today. We put them in there as placeholders so you could see what was going. I don't think there's going to be any changes to those today, but the draft watermark will be removed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will draw your attention to my report, which I'm very pleased with. It was well written. Ariana, thank you. You did an excellent job of that. And I just made a few minor adjustments and added a paragraph about the Patricia fire, but appreciate that. As you all know, I would not have been able to produce this in this format, and it's under the circumstances, it's excellent. And I thank you for that. And with that, I invite council to scrutinize it further. If you have anything else that you think should be included in that, certainly this is signed off by the Reeve, but it's our report. So I think, not having been here a good part of the time, this seems to very well summarize a lot of what happened in the last year. Any other comments or things that you think should be added? Oh, Holly, please.
They can find me, Athena?
Sorry?
I can't find it now, but in Arno's report, the word thanks was capitalized in the middle of the sentence, which I didn't think it should be. It's a minor thing. Secondly, the planning and development. I thought the Coffee Barrel opened in 2020. It opened 2021. One was actually approved. Instead of the store in Rolling Hills opened, I think so. The Coffee Barrel opened. If you're going to say one, you should probably include both. That was just my thinking, because Scandia doesn't have many businesses opening. It's kind of an event. Just saying.
I can speak to the first one. I found it's in about the third last paragraph, and good call. It was there so people would notice it. Now maybe it should just be emboldened and not capitalized, but and the structure could be changed too. I just wrote it in a, does it communicate or doesn't it? I mean, that is as.
I thought it's what you intended, but I thought it looked like an error. Like I thought that was your intention, but the way it's written, I thought from a teaching perspective,
it's a learning moment. Yeah, I know it's good.
As a homeschooling parent, I just
Kelly, please.
Maybe a minor thing, but I wonder if we're missing out on some people that did volunteer. We're talking about our volunteer firefighters. I wonder if we could include and neighbors. It's just a shout out to the Hutterite colonies and to any neighbors in the area that are not part of the fire departments. There was tons of people besides our fire departments that went to this fire. Would you be open to that?
I would. I'll just reread. In the second sentence, I said more than 250 firefighters and neighbors responded to the emergency, including
All right.
several flare-ups. And then I didn't thank the firefighters. I think, oh, yes, I did. Thanks to the many volunteers.
Okay.
General, is that
That's
close
fine.
enough?
Yeah.
Because I was
That is
thinking,
good enough.
I was thinking of that too.
I was reading the one sentence
Yeah.
with the thank you only.
We could, yeah.
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 Just to compliment you, Arno. It's really cool that you take the time in the Reeves report to let all 10 councillors have their say. I've been on a board where the chairman wrote the report, we read it, and it didn't go over very well. You did an excellent job.
Well, and I'll transfer that directly to Ariana, who did an excellent job of starting this. And if I have to do this again, I hope it's never more difficult than this. This was easy. Thank you for that. Anything else? Anyone else? Or any other part of the annual report? I was just highlighting this because for the specific purpose of our input, but I think the whole report, I think an excellent report. I haven't read it all in detail, but there's a lot of really good information there that I think highlights a lot of the things that we have to celebrate as an organization, as a county, and as a population. It's pretty good news. Holly?
It's made for Matt. Just a refresher. Can you tell me why there's a restricted budget for Tilly of $50,662? I know we've asked this before, but I couldn't remember what it was when I was reviewing it.
Yeah, so that's a balance that carried forward from when the village dissolved, and those dollars will be directed towards the Tilly old landfill reclamation, which I've been assured will be complete this year. So.
Okay, Ariana, when will the final report be finalized? So you kind of invited us to review it and potential for input for how long, would you say?
I would like to post it the week of April 25th. If that's Monday, it has to be up before May 1st. So we'd have an ad in the paper, we'd post it to the website, we'd use some social media just to get the word out there. Yeah, I'd like any more changes before April 25th. And also I just noticed the photos, if you weren't aware, we hold a photo contest annually. So these are submissions from photos from people in the county, and they're really good this year. And I just noticed that we don't, like they have their names on the image credits, but we should probably mention the photo contest somewhere in here just to say thanks for everyone who submitted photos for that.
That's a good idea, because that also invites people who read it who see the pictures, say, oh, I could take a picture sometime and maybe I'd be in there too. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So I'm going to suggest that if anyone has anything that we all need to consider prior at our next meeting, we could quickly, I mean, unless there isn't anything, if there is something that comes up at our next meeting, or directly to Ariana between now and then. So, Greg, please.
Just a question. I see that there's not a lot of information on the hamlets within the county as far as populations and unless I'm missing it, I flipped through it pretty quick, but I don't see a lot of or any statistical information. I don't know if we want to include something like that as far as populations in the hamlets, or maybe any of the divisions that have hamlets maybe want to see that. I don't know. I kind of would like that, just to see how many people live in the hamlets. I don't know. And I don't know if we want to break down the taxes and things like that, a statistical snapshot of what, how how the taxes are revenue from, to the tax bases involved. I don't know if I'm gonna go that deep, but just a couple things that I like to see myself in a annual report, because I live in a hamlet. So,
You better buy your property out there before the report comes out, because it's going up. Thanks for that, Greg. Dan?
That's similar to what Greg's saying. I like that idea. If it's not in there, it'd be nice to have that in there. Even just a breakdown of each division, population of that division, what's in it, population of the hamlets, hamlets, not the hamulets. I don't know what a hamulet is. But anyways, yeah, I think that would be a nice addition to have in there, for sure. That we got into this year, it might be a bit much to try to get squeezed in. I don't know. But if it was in there, I think it'd be nice.
Okay. Kelly?
So that made me think of all the time that we spent over the past year on our relationship building. I'm wondering if that shouldn't be in the Reeves report as well. A shout out to our partner municipalities and acknowledging the relationships, and I don't know how to word it, but a shout out to them and the work that they do to keep our county vibrant and sustainable.
I think that's a good idea. If you do, that's a very excellent idea, in fact, and I think between Ariana and I think we can word craft something, right?
Okay. I know she can.
Well, I can even think of something like that. Like, that's a pretty good idea. So, but we'll get it done. You'll see it next month or 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good idea. The Reeves report's going to get kind of long, though. Okay. Anything else? I think we're on track here. Oh, and the other suggestions regarding the highlights for the hamlets. Somebody take care of that. That's a done deal. Thank you. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ariana. We are down to number 10.4, appointment of the City of Brooks Recreation and Parks Board. Director of Corporate Services. Is he coming back?
Elaine, you're up.
Mr. Lane Johnson, welcome back.
This one's just really a very simple and straightforward matter. This is a City of Brooks committee. They have openings on the committee for appointments from the county, and there is one vacancy for a member at large. We have advertised extensively and do have someone that is interested, so recommendation is to proceed with that appointment.
Okay, thank you, Lane. Yeah. Greg?
yeah, I'd like to make that motion for Kathy Stefanovich to be on the Parks and Rec Board.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on that? All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thanks, Lane. Okay, we're down to item number 10.5. There is information there. I think that's it's printed for us there. I view it as information. I think we can move on unless someone has other feelings about it. Item 10.5, the National Police Federation proposal to join the call to action. Kelly, please.
Well, we have been skirting this discussion for months now. Are we going to have our own decisions on this, or are we going to make a council decision? We voted at RMA individually. Are we not going to take a position as a council? That's my question. And that's basically what this letter is asking as well.
Yes, in some respects that's true. I guess I view this as basically as a labor union
Yes.
asking for us to join their cause, and I struggle with that myself, but that doesn't prevent us from discussing.
That's why I want to have the conversation.
Yeah, no, then and we can certainly discuss where we stand or what we think needs to happen there, but that's just background that I would see about this, but I'm open to what council wants to do with this specific request. Thanks, Neil.
RMA came out in the newspaper a couple of days ago totally in support. This is with replacing the RCMP. I can't see how we can not make a decision on it, because we've got our whole RMA almost unanimously backing the RCMP, and for us to sit outside as an individual county and not offer an opinion is kind of contrary to what the political wind is right now.
Okay, that's perspective. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Oh, Greg, did you?
Oh, I'm on. I've been on for a while. Good thing I didn't see anything. Anyway, this is above me to make a recommendation or not make a recommendation. I don't have all the information on just the private Alberta policing. I don't have enough information. I don't have numbers. I don't have everybody saying it's going to be more expensive, but there isn't concrete numbers in place to say that it is. There's positives for it and negatives for it. And for me personally to say yes or no, I think there's a lot more research that needs to be done on this. I don't think we're there yet. And to follow what the union organization is saying, I'm not willing to follow that from themselves. I need to hear it from real numbers. So that's kind of where I'm conflicted on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I was, well said. That's what I was trying to say personally too. I like, if you look up the National Police Federation, it's basically it's a union organization that's well funded and lots of representatives. So, and I'm with you. I don't know that I have good enough information to make an absolute decision on this. Dina, please.
I agree with Greg in a sense. I think we should be doing our own discussion about it and make our own mind up and lead that way rather than hitching our wagon to this. I think if we're going to take a stand, we should do it from our point of view, from us, not tagging along with someone else like this union.
Okay, thank you. Any further perspectives or anything? And I guess, were you going to speak? I guess there's kind of two things. There's a response. I mean, they're asking us to tie on to their political push, but I'm hearing maybe a higher level of discussion than that. Where do we stand on some of this? And I think from a practical perspective, not from, this is a pretty political push here that it seems to me it might be kind of easy just to go along with this, and we might not get more than we pay for there. Dan or Matt? Matt, did you?
I was just going to mention at spring convention there was that resolution that carried, and the organization that the county belongs to for advocating on these larger issues is the RMA, and I'd suggest that the RMA is the right vehicle to for council to put their advocacy efforts towards on this issue, and that's live with them. And the union request here is that we reply and send our logo to attach to their letter is the specific request.
Thanks, Matt. Neil, please.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like, if our logo goes there, it's inside the RMA logo, and it's already there, right? I mean, RMA is taking care of this for us.
Yeah, our RMA's on it. The logo request is from the National Police Federation.
Yeah, they can have RMA logo, right? That gets us off the hook.
Okay. Ellen, please.
Agreed. I think, they have a bit of a conflict of interest. And I wouldn't want our logo to be part of a union that is protecting, obviously, their members. And I think it's way better to go, as you said, Matt, with the army.
Okay. Yeah. Can we carry on to 10.6? Thank you. This is a request for a letter of support from the Red Bull Outfitters, Outliers, FIM Hard Enduro World Championship. There's, the information is enclosed. We have sent this letter. I guess this is after the fact. Permission. We had a discussion on this, and there's history, as it's indicated. There was support for this in the past, and so we sent a letter in time. Kelly, go ahead.
So they presented at joint services, and all they're asking for is support from the community. And I would like to make that motion to provide support of the Red Bull Outliers application to CIP program.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate. Opposed, that is carried. Thank you. Councillor pay sheets for February. Is that just for information? We need a motion with regard to that. Yeah, we need a motion to approve councillor pay sheets. Is there any discussion on that?
Shouldn't that come from our compensation committee? Yes, you are.
So we made the changes, we submitted the changes. This sheet does not reflect those changes. Yeah, you guys have seen what we sent out, but they're not on this timesheet. So I don't know what to say. I'm going to turn my mic off.
Is there more information needed? Matt, are you turning your mic?
Do we need a refreshed summary, or has council reviewed the email that compensation committee sent out with the changes? Because I believe that was last meeting, so you'd be fuzzy.
Was there action required on the part of individual councillors for things to change, or no?
No, everything's been put in. It's just not reflected in the sheet that we're looking at.
Okay.
So everyone has the information. It's just, I don't know if the wrong sheet got attached to our agenda or what's going on, but everybody has seen the actual information, and I think the changes are being made, but they're not showing up right here. And we haven't heard back from Jackie yet as to if it's just the wrong sheet or what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you recommend bringing it back? Because obviously we're not approving this, right?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to bring it back
We'll
one
bring
more
it back.
time, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get better at this. I know you will. I know we all will. I keep saying you, but it's me. I'm at the top of the
No,
list.
it's-
I get edits every time. I appreciate what you do, and I know how hard this job is. I've done it, so I appreciate the work you do.
Lynette and then Neil, please.
Can we not approve the version that was sent out to everyone? Like, everybody would have seen the version with the changes on. Dan sent it out after the last meeting. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, the only thing is I'm looking at the email and it has errors that we made, but no numbers attached. So Jackie would have received this, and as we did, and not know what to put in for numbers. It's dated March 24th. Compensation is the subject line. And so I would suggest that we bring it back for approval. Just so we're not approving and, yeah. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Neil?
Well, my comment was the same as Lynette's, if we could approve it from the email, but if there's more that needs to be there, I guess we gotta wait.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see this in 2 weeks, right? Okay, thank you.
We'll get Jackie to prepare a summary that it is inclusive of what was emailed out to everybody, so you've got it attached to the agenda for easier review.
Okay, good, thank you. We're down to 10.8, requests for functions of council. Are there any? Kelly and then Ellen, please.
So that was going to be my topic, was when things come up, like the Halo presentation, where Matt sent out an invitation to ride along with them. How does this council want to handle that? Before, it was volunteer. It was you jumped in with Matt and you gave up your time. But that is not what I'm hearing in conversations that you want to happen. So I think for the compensation committee, which I used to be on, we need to have the conversation about how you want to handle these things that come up between meetings. Because it would be a change. It would be something that we all need to agree upon.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. We'll have discussion on that. Ellen, did you have a comment on that or different?
This is a different one. Some councillors were invited to a meeting, and this was not related to fire or recreation. And I wonder if everyone that was invited to the meeting can also claim for compensation for that.
To a specific meeting? Or to Rosemary? Yeah, I think this is similar to Kelly's question, is how do we deal with interim activities that happen? Go ahead, Ellen.
Yeah, sorry to interject. Before, traditionally, it's been when you deal with your constituents and you prepare for the meetings, and we get a base amount for that. And of course, that also entails dealing with fire meetings and recreation. But if it is outside of that, that's what I'm wondering, right? Indeed, we would have to talk about that.
Right. Yeah. That specific meeting, no big deal from my perspective. I'm just happy to do that. Yeah, but I think there's a bigger question, and I think, whether we decide it today, I think at some point we do need to decide how we want to approach these kinds of things. How much of additional activity is covered, and how much do we want to include time and mileage for. Neil, you were going to say something, I think.
I thought that when we were dealing within our own divisions for recs, park, fire, meeting people at the post office, we're paid for that. But when you have counselors from various divisions, for instance, going to Halo, or going to Strathmore, or going to anywhere else, they wouldn't be there if they weren't on county council and they're representing us. And it usually takes half a day to pull that stuff off. I think that's asking counselors a little much. They should be compensated for that. That's my opinion. But I would like to have that conversation and decide so we all know, so you're not feeling a little bit off every once in a while.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that's what Kelly is referring to too. Let's figure out how we want to do this, and so that the area, you know, it's an open book kind of with regard to how we approach it. Dan?
I think whenever possible, if you can ask permission first at a council meeting before you go, you do that, which we already know. If that's not an option, for instance, the Halo, we didn't have a chance. It came up in between. So if it's something like Neil says, it's outside of your day-to-day operations within your division, it's a councillor as a whole, representing the county as a whole, and you feel like you should be compensated, put in your compensation and ask at the next council meeting if it can be a function of council. And if it's granted, then great. And if it's not, then that's the will of the council. So it's fairly easy to do it that way. The problem that came up with this Halo one was compensation sheets had to be handed in, so you had to put it in or not with or without permission. So that's gonna happen again for sure, but I think that's the easiest way to deal with it. Put it in as compensation and then ask if it can be a function of council, and if not, it will be reflected in the compensation review that the time will be taken back that you put in. That's the easiest way to deal with it.
Okay, thank you. Lynette, please.
I think we as a council need to kind of decide beforehand, just so that you know, like, for example, the 4 that did go to the Halo presentation, to know whether they were giving up a half a day of work to not get paid, or if they were going to be compensated for what they were doing. Like that helps you to decide what you can do and what you can't do too. For some people, like not everybody has to take time off work to do some of these things, but some of us do. So I think we need to kind of have a baseline so that we know if we're going to be compensated or not, like as to what everybody's opinion is on yes or no kind of thing. Yeah.
I think that's good perspective. Adina, you've got, no. Oh, Dan, please.
Why don't we come up with something at a strategic planning and decide if we want to change that policy to reflect the way we all want to handle this, and then maybe we can revisit that policy so that it indicates right in writing what is and what is not acceptable.
Right, I think that's probably good. That takes us off the hook for today. We'll carry on, and I think it's something that we can discuss. I mean, this isn't the most strategic thing we're going to talk about, I hope, and I know that's not the case, but we can spend sometime working through this so that we're on the same page and we understand each other. I think that's good. Neil, please.
This is back from EID days I keep bringing up, but we went through the same discussion, and the way it ended up was that if Dan feels there's a burning issue to come to something that I'm dealing with because he's a member of the county and it all involves taxpayers' money, he charges for that. And same goes for any other counselor that feels they want to partake in anything. And it actually worked pretty good. I don't think we ever had a squabble over anything. I just left it to the counselor's discretion. As long as there's rules set out as far as what we do within our own divisions. When you're out of your division, you're working for the county.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a perspective we can bring to well said. I think let's revisit this and I like the idea of leaving it to everyone's personal discretion too. I mean, we're all adults is the right word, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
if we have,
Okay, let's,
if we have a council where we don't trust each other enough to make those calls, we don't have much of a council. So that's where I'm coming from.
okay, we will revisit at the appropriate time. Thank you. Did we miss committee reports? Or no? Next month? Next week? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. We're down to information items, right? 13. What do we have there? Payment registers, are there any questions about that? Holly, please.
I'm just wondering why we have $1,425 of the staff appreciation gift cards, what that would be.
I'm trying to remember what day Staff Appreciation Day was, but that's what that is a $20, I think it was, gift card from PV Mart that staff relations gave to every staff member in the building.
Thank you. Follow up? Okay. Any other questions with regard to the register? If not, we can move in camera if we have a motion to move in camera. Lynette, thank you. All in favor that we move in camera, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you.